Today we're going to be talking about cancer clinical trials. And those are studies that investigate some part of cancer care. We're looking at trying to come up with ways to discover new treatments, new strategies to prevent cancer, and also ways to improve quality of life for cancer patients. Clinical trials are the forum by which we investigate some of these questions. I spoke a little bit about a cancer prevention trial. There are also cancer screening trials. For example, when people get mammograms, the reason why we get mammograms is the result of previous cancer screening trials that discovered that mammograms are a good way to reduce the mortality from breast cancer. So that is an example of a screening trial. Then we have treatment trials, and these are of particular interest to me as a medical oncologist. The treatment trials are how we have established some of the great new advances in cancer therapy. Cancer clinical trials do not substitute placebos for effective treatment. Placebos may be part of a clinical trial, but those are added on to standard of care. We would not deprive someone of effective treatment to be on a clinical trial. Someone may get the most cutting edge treatment, things like immunotherapy or biologic therapy. These are types of cancer treatments that weren't available years ago, and they started out being available only on a clinical trial. The thought about a clinical trial, you may be able to get tomorrow's treatment today, which is how I like to explain it to patients. There's also benefits for society. You may be answering a question, and I'm always amazed at the altruism and the generosity of the patients I take care of. Anyone who participates in a clinical trial, no matter which arm of the study they're on, statistically will do better. They get more closely monitored, and that's really appealing to some people. They may get access to tests that they wouldn't have access to if they were not on a clinical trial. So those are additional benefits. But there are some additional risks in that the study drug that someone's on may not help the individual. It may take more time. It may involve more testing. Testing's always a double-edged sword. Some people want more testing. Not everyone does. When we talked in the beginning about prevention, screening, treatment, and quality of life, those different types of trials will accept different kinds of risks. If someone doesn't have cancer and they're going to be involved in a screening trial, you don't want something that would be very risky, because this is someone who doesn't have a medical problem, and you don't want to give them a medical problem as a result of the intervention. When someone has cancer, particularly advanced cancer, that patient might be willing to accept more risks they already have as part of treatment. Anytime you give someone chemotherapy or any sort of cancer treatment, you need to obtain informed consent, because there are toxicities or potential for very serious consequences. But unfortunately, we all know with advanced cancer, there's a risk of death from the disease, and so people are willing to take risks with treatment. But that's not true for a screening trial. Everyone should have the opportunity to think about a clinical trial, and everyone should have the opportunity to know that trials exist for them.